Fanatical Elz Show, part of the Elz Network. We are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bringing you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. Hey, it's the Fanatical Elz Show. It's a Thursday night, and there is Steve Gill. Down there is Sam Britton, and I'm Johnny Cleveland, Johnny Suchan something or another. We are the Fanatical Elz Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. We appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Check out our link on the X page. Click on the link, buy some amazing coffee. Sam can tell you all about it. And you will be throwing 15% back to us here at the Fanatical Elz Network. We need every penny you can give us. Please, please, please. Well, how's the weather, Steve, on this Thursday night?
It's about 82 degrees right now. And the wind's blowing. It's not that bad. It's nice and comfortable. Tomorrow, the high is supposed to be 71, and that'll be shortly after midnight. And it'll drop all the way down to about 37 overnight.
Yes.
So, yeah, cold front. Gotta love
Yep.
it.
We're getting prepared for that here.
Rain. Need rain. Need lots and lots of rain. Bring me rain. Just
He's down in Nashville there, folks. Yeah.
Down in Nashville. We need some rain.
Interesting to see. I saw some photos today of the new ballpark they're building there for the Tennessee Titans. I didn't realize it was like right next to
the
old ballpark.
It is. It's going to be interesting to see those Titans fans try to find parking this season, because there's really not that much parking to begin with. So it's going to be interesting.
All right, Steve.
I don't go downtown, so that's
only the tourists go down there, right, Steve?
Damn right. Unless you work downtown or you're a musician and you have to play downtown, nobody goes downtown.
Where is the place that people like the tourists go? Is it down? It's downtown, but it's
Lower Broadway.
Okay.
It's the main drag that comes in. It runs from about all the way to First Avenue, probably. Let's see now. The convention center is just past the from about 12th Avenue. The convention center starts at 12th Avenue, and it's like 3 city blocks. And then you have the Bridgestone Arena where the Preds play.
Okay.
And then you have all the massive quantities of honky tonks.
By the way, they just came out on my phone. We have a tornado watch now here in the Columbus, Ohio region. So stay tuned and watch the sky. Sam, good evening. Cowboy hat.
Yeah.
He was considering wearing a different hat because today it is the opening of the baseball season.
And that was basketball on.
Yeah, it was Longhorns basketball.
Longhorns are playing tonight. That's right.
It is opening baseball season too, but yeah, weather's been nice. It was 96 or 97 on Saturday. It's back down to like high 80s. It'll be like 65 in a few days, and it'll be back up to 80. It's all over the place. Maybe we'll have rain soon, but we'll see. It's just been warm, so interested to see what we have to talk about, because again, it's a very slow season right now with the football.
Well, it's a little slow, but there were some things that happened in the last day or two that are something to talk about. By the way, you said you are a Texas fan? I thought you were a Sparty fan, Michigan State.
I'm not a Texas fan. I just support them because they're here.
So Texas has a player there, Dwayne. Gosh dang it, I forget the kid's name. Dwayne Swayze. I can't pronounce his last name either. He went to school where I was a counselor for a few years, and he's from Columbus, and he was at Xavier for several years, and now he transferred to Texas. He's their star player, and I'm rattling my head now. I can't think of the kid's first name or the last. Well, the last name is like Swain or Swain. It's Swain. So
yes,
watching that later on tonight. But
he has 2 points.
2 points so far. What's the score in the game?
30-30.
Oh, it's a good tight game. Okay. Well, it is baseball season as well, and the NCAA basketball tournament. So lots of things happening. If you're a sports nut, this is great. So it has been kind of slow, right, guys? We've talked about this a little bit, but yesterday, Steve Gill, your favorite guy, Jack Duffin, wrote a little bit something
He
article.
overreacted a little bit.
I wanted your assessment on it because that's what caught my attention, because I agree with that, because typically Jack Duffin is, spot on. And
Well, he's a contract guy.
okay, we're talking about
understands how
Myles
the
Garrett, by the way. Myles Garrett and the
What?
Cleveland Browns restructured the
Nobody's
contract.
talked about him today.
What?
Nobody's talked about Myles Garrett. Has somebody been talking about Myles Garrett?
And it's not about speeding tickets.
Yeah, surprising.
All right, so Steve, let you start by breaking down, because you read Jack Duff and stuff, and you said he kind of overreacted.
He did.
Explain
Not
to the
as much
fine
as
folks.
Tony Grossi did this morning, but he overreacted.
Explain to us what Jack came out with, and Miles, and I want to hear from Sam.
If you dive into the numbers, and I did. First of all, Myles Garrett is not going to be traded this year. You can forget about that. It's not going to happen before the draft. It's not going to happen before the season starts. There's no benefit to the team to making him a post June 1st cut, because you're only allowed 2, and Teller and Njoku are taking up this year's 2.
Okay.
So basically they just moved back the day that he gets his bonus to right before 7 days before the season opener. The 25th was that day yesterday, but they pushed it back. The benefit now, does it make him more tradable in the future? Yeah, sure. The most optimal time to trade him would be to make him a post June 1st cut in 2028. That benefits the team. As for the money involved, the cap savings actually start to happen in 2029. So I can see how they move this money around. I mean, let's face facts. He's going to be what, 33 this year? Some 32.
Well, he's going to the year. Is it year 9 or year 10?
It was 2018, wasn't he?
2017.
Okay.
He came the year before Baker. So this would be year
2017.
10. Yeah.
So year 9. So
year 9. Okay.
Yeah. But he's like I said, he would have to be designated a post June 1st cut. I looked at the contract, went over a cap, looked at what happens. By the way, go to Over the Cap. Very fan friendly, simple, very fast, always up to date website for salary cap. But Jack Duffin kind of overreacted a little bit. He put it prior to this language, 1% to 50-50, they trade him. Excuse me. Well, yeah, 50-50 for the life of the contract. I could see that. But they're not going to trade him. They're not going to trade him before the draft, and they're not going to trade him this year. It doesn't benefit the team to do it now. It could benefit the team, like I said, 2028. Now, like I said, you have 2 guys that you can cut post June 1st. They've already got their 2 for this year. Next year, Deshaun Watson's going to be one of them.
Yeah.
So I don't see it happening then, because they're splitting a large cap hit from him. So if they want to move on from Myles and 2028, they can do it, and it benefits the team.
Okay.
So, simple.
Sam, with all
Let me add to that.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Add to that. If you listen to Emmett Golden this afternoon, out of the blue, somebody he knows in the front office called him. He didn't call the guy. Guy called him and said, we are 100% not trading Myles Garrett.
I saw
that. Which was extremely unusual. And then Adam Schefter added to it that they are 100%.
Mary Kay came out too and said something. I mean, Mary Kay knows everything. All right, Sam, what's your assessment on all this? Wait, Steve's kind of broken it down, but I guess the one thing that I want to ask you too, Sam, is with the Browns are trying to propose this, getting an additional year where they could get draft picks like from 3 years to 5 years or something. And we talked a little bit about this last week, Do you think that that has anything to do with what's going to happen with Miles? And do you feel the same way that Steve does?
Yeah, Miles isn't getting traded this year. It's probably it is very unlikely. You can basically just pretend that's not even a possibility.
Yeah,
But
but
I
people
think
here in
5
Cleveland,
years.
I'm telling you, all day long, it has just been crazy, Sam.
Well, I mean, they need something to talk about. If you come to the Dallas place, if you come to Dallas, all they talked about when like Micah was potentially being traded was just Micah, or things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, they just need to talk about things. But I think 5 years is a little too far out. Like you're dealing with at that point players who aren't even in college yet; they're
Yeah.
seniors in high school. You're looking at players who like they aren't even in college yet. The players that you'll be drafting, it's
So
just
interesting way of looking at it.
it
Yes.
it just kind of makes it difficult because you don't know if it's worth it. Because you look at 2 years out, right? You're dealing with about sophomores now, sophomores and freshmen. You can know that all right, these guys are going to be pretty decent. These guys did great in high school. These guys have done all this stuff over high school, and you can make somewhat of a prediction as to who and what will be good at that point in time. But at 5 years, especially with NIL, where players are going to be bouncing between 2 to 3 teams over the course of their entire college career,
Sure.
the unpredictability just skyrockets. You can't follow anyone because you've got to deal with high school, then their freshman team, and then they might bounce to 2 more over the course of their 4 years. And so it might just become difficult to be able to figure out if that pick is even worth it because you don't even know if now having a first round pick is always worth it, but some draft classes are weaker than others, and it's just gets difficult to understand if that has any use to you.
Well, it's certainly given everybody here that in Cleveland and people that follow the Browns worldwide an opportunity to speculate. And with the draft coming up in less than a month now, all I heard multiple times here, Sam, about the Dallas Cowboys and about their 12th and 20th pick and how that's what the Browns are going to do. They're going to give Myles Garrett to Dallas this year and, get all these draft picks. And, that's what's going to happen. That's not everybody, but I've heard multiple people here in Cleveland, on the radio and throughout La La Land here in social media talking about that. And it's interesting, but I like what Steve, I agree with you because I saw those comments by Emmett Golden earlier too.
Yeah, that's out of the blue. When does somebody in a football team call a radio personality to tell them something?
Yeah.
And also, the Browns do not leak anything. And so Adam Schefter calls them, and they tell him that.
Now, do you believe that? Do you believe that?
Yes, I do believe that.
Okay.
I do believe that. Plus, everybody complains about Andrew Berry not saying anything. But if you really listen to what he says, like this season, he said they wouldn't be that aggressive. They'd be more aggressive than last year and more targeted. Thus, they were more aggressive than last year and targeted.
On offense,
but what did he say? But what did he say about Myles Garrett? Cleveland to Canton.
Yes.
Everybody criticized him for saying that. Well, he wouldn't say it just to turn around and trade him.
Yeah.
Come on, that's not logical.
Yeah.
That doesn't pass the smell test.
So then this goes back to what Jack Duffin has done because honest to God, Steve, this guy.
I know, he went off.
I mean, that really has ignited. I mean, it would have happened anyway, but for a guy like Jack Duffin, who you respect a lot and you read a lot about his stuff, I mean, he's from England too. Let's keep that right. He's across the pond.
He's across the pond, yeah, but
he analyzes these things endlessly. Yeah.
Well, he only looks at the numbers. Okay, I look at the psychology of it because I have a psychology degree. It's just natural for me to look at the psychology of it. And like I said, it just doesn't it's illogical. It doesn't make any sense. And he is toned down a little bit.
Okay.
Today. Okay. He's toned down quite a bit. And some other people I know have also said, well, when he gets up there, starts to get up there in age, because really Myles Garrett could play till he's about 40.
Absolutely.
He could.
Yeah.
So do you want to get rid of him when he's 40, or if there's a possibility of helping the team out salary cap wise and he's starting to decline a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
You post June 1st.
Yeah.
It's like Amari Cooper. Everybody loved Amari Cooper, but he was going downhill. They traded him the next with Buffalo. Buffalo, he did squat. Next year, out of the league.
Yeah. Let's pause real quick for commercial. When I come back, Sam, I want to talk to you and Steve about the draft and some of the draft hype that we're hearing here in Cleveland about our Brownies and around the league. So we'll be right back. This is the Fanatical Elz Show. Thanks for tuning back in to the Fanatical Elz Show here Thursday night. That's Steve Gill down there, Sam Britton. I'm John Suchan. So we talked about Myles Garrett. Let's shift over, talk a little bit about this draft. Now, there's been a whole bunch of scenarios coming out. I for one, when we look at the Browns picks, 6 and 24, we don't know what's going to happen. I know that, and we're going to have to wait and see. But at 6 and 24, there's been a lot of conversation in the last 2 weeks about Carnell Tate at wide receiver. Personally, I like Caleb Downs. I talked about that again the other day on my show. I would run to the podium and take Caleb Downs. I know, Steve, that he doesn't fit exactly into the defense. But
you didn't read my blog yesterday, did you?
Well, I'd like to hear what your blog says, because I know when we've talked about this before, you weren't real gung-ho on the kid, and I've just...
Well, I have heard he's a little bit of a wild card.
Okay.
And they do like him. They're not concerned about his medicals, like a lot of people are.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a little bit of a wild card if things don't fall the right way.
Okay.
And it would take a lot. Who knows how the draft is going to fall.
Are you speculating
Nobody
that Caleb
knows.
Downs would go before 6? Is that what you're...
He might not.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
Okay.
We're 3 weeks away. So they do like him, and he is, I was told the exact words, he's a wild card. That's
meaning good or bad as a wild card?
He's a wild card. I don't push. I would take it that it implies that they like him.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's the best player in the draft. I mean, a lot of people have talked about his athleticism and his ability just to analyze and understand the game. And I just think that those are things that, I don't care what position he plays, he's a really great ball player. So I would take him. Now, Sam, let me ask you this. Carnell Tate, Caleb Downs, both there at 6. A lot of conversation in the last 2 weeks has been the Browns want to take Carnell Tate. We talked a little bit about taking a offensive lineman in this spot before, like this Freely kid that's a project. Where do you stand with the 6th pick right now? Do you like Carnell Tate? Do you like one of these offensive linemen?
To be honest, if it's their wide receiver, I think you want to do wide receiver. Again, you have a lot of other first round picks. The Ohio State kid,
Carnell Tate.
I don't know why.
Carnell Tate. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why his name left me, but no, that's what you want right now. You want wide receiver, and then the next first round pick and your second and third, you should go offensive lineman. You want that superstar wide receiver, and then you want those offensive linemen, because right now you're trying to give Shadur a chance. You want Shadur to have the best opportunity he can. So that's why you're going to pick up offensive lineman and wide receiver. And then next year, if Shadur doesn't produce, you can slot one of those maybe better quarterbacks that will come up next year into that position and already have an established team that's ready for him to help get a better and quicker gauge on if that quarterback that you end up picking is going to be good for your team. So I think you go Carnell Tate, and then you go offensive lineman on as many other picks, along with filling some holes. But I think Carnell Tate is the best at 6.
Sam, who do you like at the offensive lineman positions? I know there's a couple kids from Utah that have been brought up at that 24 spot. Do you like either one of them, or do you have a favorite offensive lineman?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite offensive lineman, because it's hard to know who's sitting at where. But what's our pick? 24, right?
24 and then 39.
Yeah, you've got
in the second round.
Caleb Lamu, which has
Lamu. Yep,
he's quite good. I think he's very, very good for if you wanted to go that way. And then you never know, Monroe Freeling, he might fall a little bit out of Georgia. He could be quite decent as well.
Yeah, He's a young project, right?
Because he's projected like pick 14, but again, he could fall. It's only 10 picks. Some people think others are better. He could definitely go. And then you've got Caden Proctor out of Alabama. He's also quite solid. He's definitely not as good as the other two, but I think he could still. I don't know. He's one of the guys who I feel like is your last resort, in my opinion. At that pick, I still feel like there's someone better, but he still is. If all the guys are like, if it's a shocker and people just wipe the board of offensive linemen, he still could be someone you look at if you really need him.
Steve, do you agree with that philosophy with the Browns taking the wide receiver at 6 and then concentrating on the offensive line?
Yeah. Tate or Lemon are there at 6. I'd take either one of them.
What if they're both there?
Well,
I think they both are going to be there.
They probably will both be there. It's just how they have to decide how they have them valued.
Okay.
I think they're going to take more than one wide receiver in this draft. I think they're going to take more than one offensive tackle. The one guy, and I've mentioned him before, and I've written about him in my blog, left tackle, Miami, Florida, Markel Bell.
Right.
Started 2 years at left tackle, didn't allow a sack for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
More than likely a day 3 pick, could be a late 3rd round pick, but 2 years starter at left tackle. He was one of their early visits before they started going down the bargain shelf with the wide receivers.
Yeah.
And they've been calling every wide receiver that's draft eligible in up to Berea. So, yeah, I think they can go 2 wide receivers. I think they'll go 2 offensive tackles. I think they definitely have to go safety. They definitely have to find a slot corner. The kid from South Carolina is all right. I kind of like the kid from Indiana, Pons.
Yeah.
People won't like him because he's only 5'9", 5'10", but I think he'd be a perfect slot corner.
Okay.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they went defensive back at 39. So, but if both those wide receivers are at 6, you got to take one of them. And everybody talks about Lomu, the tackle. They like Fano, the Utah.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah.
The other one. They like him.
Fano seems like he's higher. Like in most of the mocks that I'm looking at, Fano is ranked a little bit higher than the other.
Well, he could transition to the left side a lot easier. But keep that eye on that. The kid from Florida, of the Hurricanes, Markel Bell. I thought it was odd that they brought him in so early, and now I've heard that they do like it. So
that's a good. Okay, and like wide receiver, a couple things here. I had a couple on the recent mock I did. Kid out of Louisville, Chris Bell, wide receiver, could be. And if you were looking at a second wide receiver, 2nd
round talent.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not talking about 1st round. I'm talking about like 2nd, 3rd round.
Yeah.
I had him going.
KC Sasepion. They had him in this week. I could see him going in the 2nd round if they wanted to wait till 39 to get a wide receiver. That makes good sense. What
about the tight end position? Later in my mock, like in the 4th or 5th round, I took a kid by the name of Justin Jolly from NC State, North Carolina State. Have you ever heard of him? I think
no. Okay, I haven't. Well, there's a lot of tight end. I still like Max Clare. I'm sorry.
Yes.
There are
kid out of Ohio State.
Yeah, he can block. He can play in line, but he can also go out and run routes. He's not light like Fannin, but he can block.
I wrote an article a couple weeks ago about Jeff Caldwell, who's another wide receiver out of Cincinnati, who could be there in the late rounds if the Browns are looking to get, more wide receiver, kind of like David Bell or somebody else like that they do in the late rounds. The kid that you talked about earlier out of South Carolina, I just did an article that should be posting on Dog Pound Daily soon about his name is Braden Cisse or Cisse. He actually started and played 2 years at North Carolina State. He grew up in South Carolina, he wanted to play for the Gamecocks, didn't get recruited. He's a friend though, or he's been mentored a little bit by current player that plays for Carolina now, Horn, J.C. Horn, who played for the Gamecocks. He's in his third or fourth year in the NFL. So he's excited to get to the NFL, this new kid, Cisse, and he had a good year last year. He transferred over to South Carolina. I have him going in that second round, like you suggested, because the Browns do need some help in that secondary. They only have 6 guys right now, and maybe that's not too unusual. And on their active roster, one of the guys is that Harden kid that they drafted 2 years ago in the 7th round. They have Denzel Ward, of course. They have Campbell, but they have a couple other guys that a lot of people don't really know a lot about. This Deion Jordan, I think, and then somebody else. So they
got
really,
a couple DBs that are also special team, Avery and Ross.
Okay. So they are okay.
And then Dan Thomas, the safety, who's a special teams ace, but they still need a number 2 safety, and they need a slot corner.
Yeah.
The other guys can fill in, on dime packages and that kind of stuff.
Sam, are you looking at some of these draft picks, or do you have anybody that you like that you've been writing about, like, or looking at when you're studying the draft in the last couple weeks?
I mean, I wouldn't say really there's a lot of just good players. Like, I wouldn't say there's anyone who like blows me away, but I'd say there's a lot of players who I'm like, all right, I think that made our team better. I think our team is going to be better now because we drafted that position. And I really don't think there's a whole lot of players in this first 10, 15 picks who I think I would be disappointed with taking. Now, there's some obvious ones that you probably just don't need that position, like edge, right? You really don't need a first round edge.
Now, we did get somebody in that free agency, the kid from Buffalo.
Yeah. Like but now if you had the idea of maybe, you want to look into a future Myles Garrett replacement as he starts to begin to age, maybe I understand that. You wouldn't do that at 6 though. You'd do that maybe 20, your other first round pick, maybe second or third,
or maybe the
depending on what
second
you're
round.
feeling.
Yeah.
Like if you think someone's like really, really good, then yeah, you use your first round pick on that. But I think overall, there's no one who blows me away, but there's a lot of players who I'm like, all right, the team just got better because we picked up this guy. And I think that's honestly more important than picking up a superstar.
So thank you, Jeffrey, for watching us.
Yeah. They did bring in an edge from Oklahoma, R. Thomas Graham. And he's visited a few other teams. He's kind of light, like Ruben Bain. He's got short arms, but he knows how to rush the quarterback. Now, I don't see that if they do draft an edge, it's not to replace Myles Garrett. It's more likely to replace Isaiah McGuire.
Yes.
Who started strong and then faded away last year. And then Alex Wright just came on after he got back from injury. He's playing well before the injury, and then he just dominated in the second half of the season. Was a great compliment to Myles Garrett. So that's another name to keep an eye on. Oklahoma, R. Thomas Graham.
Okay. Jeffrey writes here, if you're listening to us later on Apple or Spotify, he's talking about some rumors that he's heard. I did see this actually, but I didn't read a lot about it. Mike Hall maybe could be in a package deal for a wide receiver.
Still under a rookie contract.
True. Is he in the last year of it though? Is he? I think it might be the last year. Mike Hall.
I think you're
Mike
right.
Hall, Ohio State kids. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Now, what do you guys think? Sam, I want your assessment on Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama, because that's another interesting topic for Browns fans. I don't want the kid, but if he's there in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round.
If you want to get the number 1 overall pick next year, he's a great player to select.
There you go. There's your plan.
I mean, some of these people that are talking here in Cleveland are just stupid with their takes about, we could take him. Don't be surprised if the Browns take him in the 1st round. I'm like, are you? No freaking way.
Somebody will overdraft him in the 1st round. I'm looking at Arizona. I could see them moving up and taking him because they're not going into the season with Jacoby Brissett as their starter. But he is not a 1st, 2nd. He's a possible 3rd round at the highest.
Yeah.
Just because what's his name? I can't think of his name. touted him and made up some story about talking to 12 to 15 GMs and decision makers, and only two said he wasn't a first-round talent. That's a load of crap.
Todd
Second
McShay.
of all,
that wasn't Todd McShay. It was the other guy. Dan Orkulowski or
yeah. But you got to remember one thing. He and Tyler Simpson share the same agent. So we're having a little Mel Kiper moment here. So when Mel got paid to promote players, why he's still doing this for a living, I don't know. But I wouldn't trust a damn word Mel Kiper says ever again.
Well,
Once a cheat, always a cheat.
I don't know. I kind of like his assessment on Shedeur, but I'm a Shedeur fan.
Furthermore, not to trust a damn word he said. He wanted him to go number 1 overall. Give me a break.
But Steve, we were all talking a year ago. I was reminded. Well, maybe you weren't, but I think we were.
Because it was a terrible quarterback draft. This one is bad, but it's because of the unknown. There's an unknown factor in this group of quarterbacks.
What's the unknown?
Last year they were just bad. This year, it's totally unknown. Totally unknown. We're talking about Tyler Simpson with how many starts? 15 starts?
14, yeah.
14, total unknown.
Yeah. Are you guys excited about having Cam Ward there in Tennessee? Is he the
I'm not a Tennessee Titans fan, so I don't know.
I just wonder what
he's had his moments where he's looked good, and he's had his moments where he's looked really bad.
Sam, I know you're down in Dallas. What are they talking about down there with the 12th and 20th pick?
They've been looking at safety, I believe. Yeah, a lot of safety. And running back, I believe, is also where they've been looking. So safety and running back is kind of what they've wanted there.
I wonder if they'd move up to try to get that kid from Notre Dame, Dallas.
Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
They've talked about it if he'd be there at 12.
But I'm wondering if he's not going to
Washington.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, would Dallas?
Titans aren't going to take him. Everybody thought at first the Titans were going to take him, but then I talked to a Titan beat writer, and he says, I had no idea where the hell that came from. So,
wow. Well, so we've got the draft coming up here in less than a month, less than 4 weeks. It actually starts. It actually starts a month from today. No, 4 weeks.
April 23rd.
Yeah, from Pittsburgh. Should be a lot of fun. There are Browns have multiple picks. Lots of teams have multiple picks in that first round. So I imagine there could be some jockeying and trades and things that maybe doesn't happen night 1, but maybe night 2, we could see some things. So final,
there might be some trades night 1. You never know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We've got, it's not been the busiest of weeks, but certainly the Myles Garrett story has taken flight the last 2 days.
I knew it would. As soon as I read it, I was like, oh, I'm not even going to listen tomorrow. And then Tony Grossi was like, in peak, get off of my lawn mode. I mean, he came on the air angry to begin with.
What was he saying? Like,
I don't know. Apparently some internet salary capologists were busting his balls. You know how he feels about internet capologists.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But he came on he was talking fast, and he was very
right.
So, you know.
Well, I know Tony's been seen a lot, and I remember seeing him in the locker room a year ago in one of the games, and just him being there and being a beat writer for the Browns, and somebody like Mary Kay too. They've been around so many years. They've kind of, they're not.
Yeah, they keep yelling, you gotta draft great players to be a great team. They keep and then they want to trade their greatest player.
Right. Now, why would you? Yeah, Lance Reinhold, who I've listened to and trying to get him on the show here on the Fanatical Elz. Lance is a really good guy, local guy from Cleveland, and he talks a lot about a lot of what we're talking about. And he said the very same thing earlier today, Steve, about what you just said. Myles is why are you trying to get rid of your better players? And it goes back.
There's nobody in this draft that can replace him.
No, and you're going back to also what you're saying at the very beginning. And I really think that that's a good observation with Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry talked about in those press conferences, and the owner, about how the Browns defense was solid. It was the offense that they were going to work on. And so, paying attention to those sorts of things. And he talked about Miles, like you said, being a Hall of Famer and going to Canton from Cleveland.
Cleveland to Canton.
Yeah.
That's what he said last year. Cleveland to Canton. And everybody laughed at him. What the hell is he talking about? Well, when he says something, he actually means what he says. You just got to listen.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot. We'll continue to
My final thought.
Yes.
You're going to hear a bunch of garbage between now and April 23rd. So just accept it.
Yeah.
Don't believe it.
It's going to add a lot of spice to the national folks. It's giving them a huge story going into the draft. Having Myles Garrett. I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything more. And so it's almost like things were set to happen this way. Like people behind the scenes somehow, not the Browns, but it's just funny how it's so like obvious. And I think you're right, Steve. We all need to sort of hold on to our seats. Don't get overboard. Don't go crazy. I'm anxious this week. Later on Saturday, I think Rod Bloom and his brother are having a special guest. They usually have their show on Thursday, but they have a very special guest coming on Saturday. So stay tuned for that show. It's going to be dynamite. He's a celebrity in Cleveland. You all know him. So anxious to hear what his take is on. I've heard some of his take already. I've been watching his takes the last day, but I'd like to hear what he has to tell Rod and Jeff, his brother, on Saturday. So tune back in to the Fanatical Elz Network Saturday. Sam, final thought?
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of things. None of them will probably end up being true unless it's a verifiable source. Like, the big guys on Twitter. Those guys know their stuff. Anyone else, they don't know what they're talking about. And so, yeah, just you think. I know that's sometimes difficult, but if you do your own research and you think and you use your eyes and you do your own research, you'll find out way more than almost anyone else will, and you'll be able to pretty accurately know what's going on with what's happening in the draft in the future, what's happening with the team, what they might want to do. All it takes is just some research and just looking at what you see and questioning it, and usually you'll come to a pretty close answer as to what is actually going on. And so, yeah, you'll hear a lot of things. Most of it won't end up being true, but I'm excited. I think this team has a good platform right now to set themselves up for the future.
I think they've done a lot of good things. I think, Steve, you and I talked about this last week. There's the leaning into what they've been doing with the free agency moves, and everybody that I've talked to that it's the Browns fan around here, they all have said the same thing that we've been saying. Like, hey, the Browns are actually making some good moves. They're nothing spectacular, but they're responsible. They're not crazy moves. There are a lot of desperate teams out there, like you talked about Arizona, who could reach for a player like Ty Simpson in the first round. The Browns aren't doing that. They seem to be doing some good things here. And with Todd Monken being the new head coach and players kind of getting used to that, I mean, it's gonna be an interesting year. I'm excited because I think the defense is going to still be there strong. I think we need to get better at the corner position, the defensive end position, or the defensive back position, strengthen the safety position still, even with Grant. Because isn't Grant Delpit in his last year? Isn't that part of the deal with Grant Delpit?
I don't know. They extended him a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Because he got hurt. He ended up on the injury report shortly after they extended it.
Maybe he's a free agent in 20. I thought he was a free agent in 27, but it could be 28. So anyway,
all I know is before all the clickbaiters and all the national media who don't know anything about the Cleveland Browns get involved, it's best to go back and look at the mock drafts that were done in early February, because those are probably the most accurate ones right now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because you've had all the internet noise and chatter and the promotions. I have the same agent as this guy, so I'm going to promote this guy and all that other garbage.
Yeah.
And this team needs this and this team needs that. Anytime a quarterback just pops his head over the
Well-
horizon, they all yell, "He's a Cleveland Brown!"
I was-
And
yeah.
so you go back to early February when it was truly honest draft analysis.
Yeah.
And those are probably more accurate than what's floating around today.
Well, living here in Columbus, they just had the Ohio State Pro Day yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot. I listen to sports radio here, 97.1, The Fan. They do a great job. And the conversations have, revolved around these Buckeyes. And there are some really good Buckeyes. Averill Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, we already talked about, Carnell Tate, a plethora of other players that could go. I mean, those guys could potentially all go in the first round. And you got
First 10 picks.
Yeah. I mean, so any one of those Buckeyes I would be tickled pink. I mean, if
they don't need a linebacker. So.
If it's Caleb Downs and Carnell Tate, I've said I'd go for Caleb Downs. I might feel differently tomorrow. Carnell Tate, I've said this before. I know people that are part of the Buckeye organization, and they've said glowing things about Carnell Tate, what he is as a person off the field. And that speaks volumes to me. And I think that would be a great pick for the Browns. I think Browns fans would be excited to have a wide receiver. We haven't taken a wide receiver that high in ages.
Yeah, they need a number 2. I mean, let's face facts. With better offensive line, better quarterback play, Jerry Jeudy's a number 1. Tillman could be a 3. I love Malachi Corley. And
yes, he really did do a lot.
Every time he gets his hands on the ball, he does something. The new punt returner is probably going to be wide receiver 6.
Wallace.
So, yeah, Wallace. So, and he's just going to be, if he makes the team, he'll be a returner and maybe do some special things. But, we'll see. But, yeah, I'd love Carnell Tate at 6. I think that would be great. I think every Browns fan would be happy.
Did I get your final take? I can't remember. I'm getting old.
Yeah, you did.
Anything else you want to report?
No, I totally would want Carnell Tate. That would be great.
Yeah. Okay. All right, folks. Thanks again for tuning in to the Fanatical Elz Show here on a Thursday night. We spoke for almost 45 minutes again, Steve and Sam. Good job, everybody.
Thank God it's slow.
Oh, this is a great time of the year. We have a lot to anticipate. Can't wait for the draft to get here. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe. Talk to you later. Go
Browns.
Browns.
Go Guards.